It was a beautiful spring morning in eastern Florida on April 24th, 1990. Wispy white clouds lazily drifted across the sky as the Space Shuttle Discovery prepared its launch. Its cargo was the Hubble Space Telescope, a device that would become an integral piece of expanding humanity's knowledge of the cosmos. 1 month after the telescope's launch into orbit, the first image would be released, Hubble's first light. It looks almost quaint today, given the clarity and truly breathtaking quality from newer telescopes like James Webb, but there's something mesmerizing about first light. You can almost lose yourself in it. If you stare, you might start to see something deep within the pixels. Do you see it? Zoom in. Further. Further. Is that a train?
I like trains.
That's right, a train. A galaxy-spanning train, stuffed to the gills with collectible waifus and husbandos. That's what NASA was truly after in 1990. They wanted to take their own spin of the space waifu roulette wheel, because they were all gambling addicts, and the easiest way to get them to part with their money was a promissory note for tasteful side boob. Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Experience a universe that's just like real life, where gaining new friends is as easy as winning the lottery. On this trip, we'll visit distant lands built on lies, worlds covered in snow, starships piloted by furries. It's the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Space!
I'm just kidding, now it's a money-making extravaganza!
I love money!
You remember last year when I said I was all done with Honkai Star Rail?
Alive!
When I stopped, it was because I was finished with the content. They have since added a lot more content, and I'm a sucker for some good character designs. Initially, I had liked this guy, Imbibitor Lunae. Imbibitor? Imbibitor. 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 Imbibada-bibadum. Imbibada-bibadoo.
Cluck went the chicken.
His name is stupid, but he is stupid fun to use. At least, I assume that's the case. He is fun in the trial sections. You see, I haven't unlocked him yet. I've missed out on him several times now, and who knows when they're going to rerun him again. It is a gacha game after all. It could be years before I unlock the character I actually want. You could pay real human money to unlock characters and still not get them. Really stretch out those self-control muscles. I mean, what's another $5, you cheap prick? Aren't video games normal and good? I love having an antagonistic relationship with my hobbies.
Why are you fighting me? It is not by choice.
Some out there may not agree with that assessment, and if you want to know how in-deep your friends are, ask them how they feel about the predatory nature of a gacha game. I had one friend try to tell me they were similar to other hobbies like fishing, because you pay for the poles and the bait and the lures multiple times potentially, but you're not always guaranteed to catch the fish. Yeah, maybe, but fish don't have a pity system. The trout doesn't go after the hook because after 90 casts of nothing it feels bad for you. You do keep casting, though, because you like that fish's design, and maybe she's got a cool ability that would make a good addition to your squad, or maybe you're just really horny, and you like her frilly dress and hair accessories. I'm sorry, what? Alright, little peek behind the curtain for you. I was actually thinking about doing a series of YouTube shorts where I put the Honkai Star Rail characters into a tier list. I could do a bunch of them, it's easy content for the most part, and most of my views this year have actually come from doing YouTube shorts. I like seeing the bigger numbers on the stuff I make. I'm not made of stone. But as I was developing that idea, I had to come up with some sort of rubric. How was I going to rank these characters? If I were being serious about it, it would be based on their design, their story, and their function and gameplay. Pretty simple. But what I wasn't taking into account was by far the most important element, the secret sauce, to use a both appropriate and inappropriately suggestive metaphor. I wasn't taking into account how much weirdos on the internet might want to fuck them.
What?
And boy on earth do they. Oh, there's no use denying it. I've seen your fan art, you freaks. That's not what her tail is for. What I question is why any of you would want to fuck these characters in the first place, because none of them fuck at all. It's all a racket, and Hoyoverse knows it. They're playing into it to a degree, at least as much as the People's Republic will allow. It's a bait and switch, like, oh, look, you like this pretty lady? Well, look at her, looking at you, all suggestive-like. Do you want to meet her? Do you want to zoom in on her? Well, you can have her, just so long as you...
Give me your fucking
And then you get them, but you can't do anything with them because they're just pixels and polygons. So you're going to have to get your jimmies by proxy. You'll have to experience relationships vicariously through them, so rev up your sails and get them ships on the water. Only for you to return to Spain empty-handed. No spices, no new trade routes to India, no pretty ladies in dresses, no relationships. And why? Well, you've heard of queer baiting, right? Where characters will act kind of gay toward each other, but never fully commit to it because, well, homophobia mostly. Hope you had a nice pride. In this game, we everything bait here. An entire spectrum of potential relationships exists within it. It's full to bursting with barely disguised fetishes, all of them. Even the worrisome ones. Whatever you could want in a person, it's available somewhere in the cast. Are you a vanilla bitch? We'll pick your scoop of protagonist. You like idiots? We got 'em. Strong silent type? Of course. Himbos? Naturally. Girls that are secretly battle mechs? For days. All of these characters, they're single, and it's imperative they not mingle, because they have to be available at all times for you. You. Not the player character, protagonist, or self-insert. No. You shouldn't have to compete with them. It's you and you alone because you are special. Insatiable, forever thirsting. You. You who can always look, but can never touch. I've got an idea. What if there was a universe full of horny young people, but it was completely sexless? No procreation at all. They all just spawn into the world between the ages of 18 and 35. They drool over each other, but they have no sex parts with which to do anything about it. Sounds pretty fucking miserable. The world of Honkai and other Hoyo titles are so full of life and characters, ideas and issues that you start to wonder, why is it so sterile? I mean, there's only one of the, at time of writing, over 40 plus playable characters that even has a child of their own. One playable character in this game who has, canonically, fucked. But don't you worry, that kid's grown, moved on, and there is no father in the picture.
But your father's dead.
Every character is alone, but more importantly, monogamous. Free for the lover they just haven't met yet. I mean, sure, they have many different relationships with various other characters, but it's always textually platonic, even when it's patently obvious that two characters could be paired. Now, not everyone needs to be paired up. Don't think that that's what I mean. I'm not looking for a Naruto thing where every character has a partner and they've all porked out a convenient carbon half copy of themselves. No. But I do think having a couple couples makes the world feel more real. It makes the characters feel more real. But they all have this strange Attack of the Clones mindset when it comes to dating. Sorry, Zila, Branya just can't date you.
I'm a senator.
And of course, it doesn't matter how longingly she talks about her inner dialogue. They will never be more than gals who are pals.
Our first encounter may have been a bit of a disaster. But it was also the start of a new future. If Zila heard this, she'd probably say I was giving one of my overworld princess speeches.
Just f*** already!
And the dudes aren't safe from this anti-affection either. At least until recently, anyway. I think the protagonist is really into Firefly, like, wants to find out what her tonsils taste like into. My guess would be, they taste like WD-40. But the game just refers to that as being a good friend. There's really only one character who actively expresses his romantic interests in anyone else, and that is Arlen. But his affections are always shown as unserious because he's like, you know, a little kid who has a crush on his boss. Best be wondering what them labor unions are like on Naherda Space Station, as this kid's getting paid in motion sickness and blue balls. His feelings will never be reciprocated. Ever, because she has to be free for you. And he also has to be free for if you belong in jail. Oh, but are we really certain that Arlen isn't an adult? Not this shitto again. Okay, so there are several characters in Honkai Star Rail with ages that are, charitably speaking, indeterminate. There doesn't seem to be anything official from what I have been able to find, and anybody who's willing to guess as to the age range of characters, they tend to cast a pretty wide net. and the game doesn't seem too keen to confirm either way, probably deliberately. Gotta keep that plausible deniability shield up as long as possible. Don't want to have no Jacques now. And one such character who falls into that gray area is Arlen. And it's not hard to understand why. He looks like a child. He's got a female voice actor, which is often, not always, but often, shorthand for a male character being prepubescent to early teen. And not just in English, by the way. His Japanese, Korean, and Chinese VAs are all women. Arlen also has many childish aspects to his personality. He's similar in build and appearance to the other more definitively young characters like Yanqing or Misha, so in my mind, they're all similar in age. But, like I said, I haven't found anything concrete, canon, or official as to most of the characters' ages. Usually the only ones that you can determine for certain are the ones that live for over 100 or thousands even of years. Outside of that, it's mostly guesswork, and it comes down to everybody's individual interpretation and judgment. I will say, I do find this coy sneaking around when it comes to defining characters' ages to be annoying and deliberately obtuse at best. Either way, if Asta is your thing, then you have to root against this seeming toddler. This poor little Pichu motherfucker who hurts himself whenever he attacks. And that, to me, is just a little fucking pathetic. So, what am I advocating for? What is the purpose of all of this? Good question. I was hoping I would have figured that out at this point in the recording process. I guess I really just enjoy seeing good characters interacting. As I've aged, I've grown to appreciate when friendship, romance, love, and affection are well realized in fiction. When something is so focused on having a massive ensemble of characters, I want the writers to get a little more ambitious with them. So basically, quit being a bunch of pussies. Allow some of the characters to have more intimate relationships. I actually believe one of this game's core strengths is its character writing. So let some characters pair up. And if their arcs logically lead to it, I say go for it. Because if we can imagine a universe full of infinite possibilities, why should it be one that's devoid of real human connection? I think that video games, much like those who make them, can aspire to be far greater than they already are. We may not be able to reach other galaxies for ourselves, but I don't think it's wrong to shoot for something a little more attainable. It's like that old saying goes, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. But if you aim a little bit lower, you go blind. Or was that something else? No, well.
1,000 faces in 1,000 places. Can you find the answer?
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please appease the whims of the algorithm with likes, comments, and a subscription to the channel. If you want to support my struggle, there are perks over on Patreon. Support me if you can, love me if you must. Have a great rest of your day.